Hey, peace. What's happening, everyone? On I deal with.
Like the rushing of a mighty wind. Like the rushing of a mighty wind.
So I saw this video from the Daily Wrap-Up crew. There's the title, Immigrants Leave, FBA Stayed and Fought. And, I want to share it with you, and then I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. So let me let this video play, and then I'd like to speak about it. And hopefully you guys will leave a comment, and we can continue the conversation there. So here goes.
That is the difference between Black Americans, because we stood here and fought. We didn't have that luxury to leave our country and go live somewhere else and benefit off the hard work of other people. And I think that's the difference between foundational Black Americans and Black immigrants, is that you guys are leaving your situations instead of staying and fighting and making your situation better. That way, the citizens don't have to leave and go somewhere else to live a better lifestyle for themselves and their family. You guys chose to go to another country instead of staying and fighting, fixing the corrupt politicians, fixing the economy, fixing the poverty, fixing the crime rate, fixing the educational attainment. You guys chose to leave, especially the brilliant minds. They are leaving their countries to go live elsewhere.
Yeah, okay. So he said a lot. And I'm going to take it piece by piece and just kind of talk about pretty much each piece of what he says.
I think that is the difference between Black Americans, because we stood here and fought.
You stood here and fought. Fought for what exactly? Like, what exactly is he talking about that they stayed here and fight for? Was it civil rights? Is that what he's talking about? They stood here and fight for civil rights. Because as far as I remember, civil rights was a non-violent movement. The civil rights movement in America was a non-violent movement. Is that the fight he's talking about? The marching that they did? That wasn't just Black Americans that were doing that civil rights fighting. There were white people involved in that fight, Caribbeans involved in that fight. All of us were involved in that civil rights fight. So you weren't the only one here fighting for that. So that can't be the only fight you're talking about. So I'm not sure, like, what staying and fighting are you talking about? Staying and fighting for civil rights? We didn't have to stay and fight in our country for civil rights. We didn't have civil rights issues in our countries. So I'm not sure why you're saying we should have stayed and fought for civil rights. Like, our concerns, our issues weren't the same as yours. We didn't have a civil rights issue in our country. Not at the heights of immigration anyway. At the heights of immigration in the 1970s, when Black immigrants really started coming here in numbers, we were independent countries. We were ruling ourselves, and we didn't have these civil rights issues that we were dealing with. We were independent, right? So our concerns were different. So what fighting is he talking about? We should have stayed and fought for civil rights? Okay, so it can't be that he's talking about. That can't be the fight that he wanted immigrants to stay and fight in their country for civil rights, because we were an independent country, right? We fought for independence and they fought for civil rights. So that can't be the fight he's talking about. So what other fight could he be talking about? Is it the Black Power fight? The fight for Black Power? As far as I remember, the fight for Black Power was mainly a communist movement, a movement for communism. And Black Power was a fight to destroy America. The Black Power movement, with people like the Black Panthers, the Black Liberation Army, like, all of this was a fight to destroy America. So was he saying they stayed and fought to destroy their country? Is that the fight he's talking about, that they stayed and fought? And so is he saying we should have stayed and stayed and fight to destroy our country? Like this doesn't mean I'm really trying to figure out what fight he's talking about. The civil rights movement was not a fight. And the Black Power movement was a fight to destroy their own country, and they lost that fight. The Black Power movement was a failed movement. It was a movement to destroy America and replace it with communism, and it failed. So they stayed and fought and lost? Is that, like, what fight is he talking about? The fight that they lost against, the fight against white supremacy. Is that what he's talking about? They stayed and fought against white supremacy. Didn't they lose that fight as well? Because white supremacy is still alive and well as far as they're concerned. So what fight are they talking? So it can't be the fight against white supremacy, because he's acting as if they fought and won. Right? When he's telling us we should have stayed and fight, he's telling us we should have stayed and fought because we could have won like they won. But you didn't win the fight against white supremacy. So that can't be the fight he's talking about, because you lost that fight as well. Y'all lost the Black Power fight, and you lost the fight against white supremacy. Pretty much was the fight for Black Power the fight against white supremacy? I guess. But it was all a fight against America. And they were fighting against their own country, trying to destroy their own country. So is that the fight he's talking about? If these are the fights he's talking about, fight for civil rights, fight for Black Power, the fight against white supremacy, if those are the fights he's talking about, then he should really be reminded that Black immigrants were here helping them with those fights, being at the lead in those fights in many occasions. The most influential of all of these Black leaders that fought in all of these fights were Caribbean people, or were immigrants in general. So we should have stayed in our country and fought for Black Power and white supremacy and civil rights rather than coming here to help you with your fight. The fight that you brought us, that you made it possible for us to come here so that we can help you with that fight. Imagine, according to you, you're the ones responsible for bringing us here. And the fact is, the only reason you would have brought us here is to help you with those fights, which we did. And now all of a sudden, we should have stayed and fought in our home, at home? What kind of ingrate are you? What kind of two-faced ingrate are you?
We didn't have that luxury to leave our country and go live somewhere else and benefit off the hard work of other people.
You didn't have the luxury of leaving to benefit off of the hard work of other people. This is the same person who belongs to the same group that collects the most welfare in the country. Isn't collecting welfare living off of the hard work of other people? Like, what is this guy talking about? If anyone, Black people in America collect more welfare than any other group in America. So what does he mean they don't live off of the hard work of other people? Their whole existence is living off of the hard work of other people. So what point does this man think he's making? You didn't leave to go somewhere else and live off the hard work of other people because you were already here living off the hard work of other people. That's all you've ever done. So how is it that now you're looking at immigrants? Listen, Black Americans collect way more welfare than any immigrant can or ever will. So who's living off the hard work of other people?
And I think that's the difference between foundational Black Americans and Black immigrants, is that you guys are leaving your situations instead of staying and fighting and making your situation better that way.
So FBA stayed and fought and made their situation better. If their situation is so much better, why is it that your whole movement is centered around getting reparations? You want reparations for making your situation better? If your situation was so much better, why are you always complaining about white supremacy? And why are you demanding reparations? Reparations for what?
The citizens don't have to leave and go somewhere else to live a better lifestyle for themselves and their family. You guys chose to go to another country instead of staying and fighting, fixing the corrupt politicians, fixing the economy, fixing the poverty, fixing the crime rate, fixing the educational attainment. You guys chose to leave.
So FBA stayed and fought and fixed their corrupt politicians. They fixed their economy. They fixed their poverty, and they fixed their crime. That's interesting. If FBA stayed and fought to fix all of these things, why is it that the most corrupt politicians are the ones in the Black community? Or the Black politicians that serve the Black community? Why are they the most corrupt? You stayed and fixed your poverty? Then why are Black Americans, FBA in particular, at the bottom of every poverty metric? FBA is synonymous with poor in America. In America, FBA is synonymous with poor. So how did you stay and fix your poverty? What else did he say? You stayed and fixed your crime? You stayed and fixed your crime. FBA communities are the most crime-ridden. So what crime did you stay and fix? Have you seen these Black neighborhoods? When immigrants come here, the last place they want to stay is in a Black neighborhood because of the crime. So what crime did you stay and fix? What crime exactly did you stay and fix when your community is the most crime-ridden? I'm confused. And what's the last one he said? He said they stayed and fixed their educational attainment. That's laughable. The FBA IQ is the lowest among all Americans. Among all Americans, the FBA's educational attainment, the FBA IQ, is the lowest. So how did you stay and fix your educational attainment? Listen, if that's what you're bragging, that you stayed and fought and fixed, you might as well have fled, because you didn't fix anything. All of this fighting you're talking about, and you fixed nothing. Because every metric you mentioned, FBA is at the bottom among all groups in America. You rank the worst in all of them, but you're bragging about staying and fighting to fix them? That means not only did you lose the fight, the Black Power fight, you lost that fight. You lost the fight against white supremacy. You lost the fight to fix your educational attainment. You lost the fight to fix your poverty. You lost the fight to fix your crime rate. You've lost every fight you stayed to fight. You've lost them. But you're bragging that you stayed and fought. Like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and it can only come out of the mouth of an FBA, because FBA are the most ridiculous people ever. You stayed and fought. You stayed and fought and lost every fight. Every fight you stayed, fought, and lost. Either you stayed, fought, and lost, or you didn't fight at all. It's more apparent that you were fighting to be at the bottom of every metric. If you want to say you fought and won, You were fighting to be at the bottom of every metric. You were fighting to be the poorest. You were fighting to have the lowest IQ. You were fighting to have the most crimes in your neighborhood. You were fighting to have the least of everything. You were fighting to be the most on welfare. Like, what fight are you talking about?
Especially the brilliant minds, they are leaving their countries to go live elsewhere.
When immigrants leave their countries to go live elsewhere, they make their country better. That's a fact. When brilliant minds leave their countries to go live elsewhere, they make their country better. For one, they contribute more to their country's GDP than the people that stay there. And they go back there with skills that is very welcomed and valued by the people there. When FBA stay here and fight, they contribute nothing to their country. They contribute the least to their country than any other group in their country. FBA, all they do is take from their country. The only thing that FBA lead in their country is in the welfare rolls. So they don't contribute much of anything to their country. So I don't know what this man is talking about. Like, this is just foolish talk. And all of this foolish talk can only come from a foolish FBA. So when you hear them talk about they stayed and fought, remind them that they stayed and fought and lost every fight. And if they didn't lose every fight, why is their main concern reparations? If their main concern is reparations, that means they've lost at everything. They've lost at everything. They stayed, they fought, they lost at everything.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Tell the youth them to be strong. You can't tell the youth them to preach wrongs. While you trod it on these lands, just remember every man is equal. Yeah, each one teach one, and our Father God him are the only done. So make we ease and reason. Smoke trees, span the ends, all the deep meds. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's a government no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Yeah, bigger heads no love people again. Them more sad than Hitler them. Me see friends now reason again. Vex through whistle a blame. More time it hurt me to see how the face deal with the eagle of them. Regular me see it a pain. Regular me see it a pain. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's a government no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Social commentary. Drop the one, your principle, you don't know. The global will come and do it. Some people life every day, it's stress. The high price from JPS, that topic is currently. Jah alone, him a go help you. We need food, cause we no healthy. We are feel the pain, beg you protect we. In our life, we have no fanfare. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's a government no have no heart, them no care about poor people.